Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to speak on Bitcoin. Now, I know most people are not into Bitcoin. Most people don't understand Bitcoin because most people can't think for themselves. See, if you can think for yourself, if you can add 1 plus 1, if you can do any research, if you have any analytical thinking skills, you will be able to realize that Bitcoin is the most accessible medium of financial freedom available today. It's the most important financial medium of financial freedom in history. See, there was a time when purchasing a house was an investment in America. It was very important. Purchasing a house was a financial investment in America for your family and your future. Not just the house, the land. Because people owned more land back then than they do today. See, so now people don't own as much land, they own mostly sticks and bricks. See, but the problem now is that houses are everywhere for the most part. And the prices of homes are highly manipulated. See, people say that the stock market is manipulated, which it is. People say that Bitcoin is manipulated, which sometimes it is. It can be manipulated as far as the volume of buys and the volume of sales. But what people don't understand is that houses are manipulated at your expense. See, so once you realize that houses are manipulated at your expense is a liability, you'll realize that it's not a good store of value. See, there was a time where the very definition of something being valuable, an asset having value, gaining value, the very definition of that was either scarcity or exclusivity. See, that was the very definition of something going up in value. It was exclusive. See, or it was scarce. It wasn't abundant. It was rare, like rare earth minerals, or a rare diamond, or a rare art piece, or a rare car. See, that's what created value. When something is limited in quantity. See, another thing that creates value is something that is limited in quality. See, that creates value. When the quality of a thing is limited, it gives it value. Something that's handmade, handcrafted by an artisan, by a leather maker, by a shoemaker, handmade. That means it takes more time and is more precise. That creates value. Anything that is mass produced in a factory by machines, that is not value. It may be a form of an asset because an asset is given value by human sentiment, but that's not what gives it value. What gives something value is its rarity. For example, there was a time, if you knew how to read and write, you was of high value. You were sought after. There was a time if you had a education, you had value. See? So there are these time periods when certain things had more value. Being a gunsmith, being a farmer, you had value if you was a farmer 200 years ago. If you was an equestrian, if you can train horses, you had value during a certain time. See? If you had a high school diploma in the 20s, 30s, 40s, you had value if you graduated from high school. And then in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, if you graduated from college, that was valuable because it was rare to have a college degree in the 70s. It was rare to have a high school diploma in the 50s and the 60s. Those things were considered valuable. That's why it was against the law for certain people to learn how to read and write, because they knew the value in learning how to read and write. Being financially literate is of high value, because the more financial literate you are, the better decisions that you can make with your finances. Those things are valuable. Knowledge is valuable. How do you gain knowledge? You gain knowledge by learning how to read and write. That's how you gain knowledge. Those things have a lot of value. That's why the American society, the culture, we are one of the highest literate cultures in the world. That's why we have so much wealth in this country, because 85% of Americans can read and write. See, and as time goes on with artificial intelligence, machine learning, social media, we're going to have a society where 90 to 95% of everybody in this country will know how to read and write. See, that's value. See, now homes are everywhere, and the only value that they have is human sentiment. They have value because people fear being homeless. That's what gives homes value, the fear of homelessness. If you don't fear being homeless, a house has no value to you. What gives a car value? The freedom of movement. That's what gives a car value. What gives a bicycle value? The freedom of movement. What gives a motorcycle value? The freedom of movement. What gives a boat value? The freedom of movement. What gives a college degree value? The freedom of diversity. You have options. If you have a college degree, you have more options. See? So Bitcoin is a form of freedom, and it's not infinite. It's finite because there's only 21 million Bitcoin. But printing money has very little value, because if money had real value, it was very valuable, and it was increasing in its worth, they wouldn't give it away to illegal immigrants. They wouldn't give it away to wars in Ukraine and wherever else. They wouldn't give the money away if it had value. See, no one is going to be sending bitcoins to Ukraine. No one is going to be sending bitcoins to Israel. See, no one is going to send anything of value to these countries. Yes, they're going to send weapons of mass destruction to Ukraine because it doesn't have value. It's something that they can make again by printing more money and by taxing the American people because the money don't have any value. See, if money had value, the Pentagon could not lose $2 trillion in their last audit. It's easy to lose something that don't have value. Think about it. You can find pennies all on the ground, nickels on the ground. You can find things that don't have value anywhere. Clothes. I see bags of clothes on the side of the road. People put clothes in dumpsters. People throw away clothes and IKEA furniture because it doesn't have value. So it's easy to give away something that does not have value. The dollar does not have value. That's why they give it away. They give it away. See? They're not sending things of value. That's my point. You have to know the difference between something that has value across generations, across borders, across cultures. See, housing has a lot of value because of, like I said before, human sentiment and the fear of homelessness. Food has value because people fear being hungry. But food is not valuable. Food would only be an asset if it was scarcity. If the food supply was down, food would be a major asset. But since there's plenty of food, people throw food away all day because it holds no value. But if there was a limited supply of food, no one would be throwing food away because it'd be more valuable. We flush the toilet, we poop in clean water. We run our shower, we run the dishwasher, we run the faucet. We wash our cars with clean water because it has little value in a country full of clean water. But in other countries, water is highly valuable. Water has a lot of value in other countries. Food has a lot of value in other countries because it's scarce. See, the only thing that gives money value is not valuable, but it gives it a sense of value in this country and across the world. It's because they intentionally limit its access. That's why they pay you low wages. The wages are low to create scarcity, to make you think that it's in limited supply. So you can work harder for less. But we know money doesn't have value, because if money had value, people wouldn't spend $20 for one meal at Chipotle. If money had value, people wouldn't be blowing it on cigarettes, on lottery tickets, on gambling, on drugs. On subscriptions, Netflix, YouTube Premium. They wouldn't be blowing it on all these wasteful things if it had value. See, you know something has value if it is A, hard to come by, and B, is not being given away. If everybody got a college degree, it's not valuable. If everybody have housing, it's not valuable. So they have to make a certain sense of fear and create a shortage of housing to give it more valuable. To give it more value. See, they create the shortage. They create scarcity in housing. There's no shortage of housing. There are about 20 million vacant homes right now. There is no shortage of housing. They create that to give it a sense of scarcity. There's no shortage of money and cash in this country. If it was, there wouldn't be so many millionaires and billionaires in this country. If there was a scarcity, if there was a shortage. Think about it. Luxury brands create value in their brands because they destroy and burn excess luxury items. They destroy and burn purses. They destroy and burn clothes. They destroy and burn watches. They destroy and burn shoes. They destroy and burn accessories, jewelry, whatever. They destroy and burn that stuff to create. Hold on. Anyway, guys. So that's the point that I'm trying to make. That's the point that I'm trying to make. That true value is scarcity. When they say that something is limited, whether it be a watch or a car, it's 1 out of 100. If they only made 100 of them, that's a limited item. That's rare. It's scarcity. That's more valuable. If they only made 100 or they only made 1,000. If there are only 10 comic books of X-Men, whatever, only 10 comic books of Spider-Man versus whoever, or Batman versus whoever, that creates scarcity. It's more valuable because there's fewer of those items. It's like that with everything. The more rare something is, the more valuable it is. It's like that with everything. That's why humans have very little value, because there's too many of us. We have very little value. That's why they want to bring so many people over to America to water down the value of human labor in the United States. The more people that are in the United States, the less we're worth. That's why the people in China get paid so much less. That's why people in India get paid so much less, because there's so many people. Like China and India, they can. Our entire population is about 350 million people in the United States. China can lose 350 million people. That would be our entire population, and they will still be okay. Same thing with India. They will still be okay. Each one of them got like 1.5 million. They'll still be in the billions, really. They can lose 300 million people. They can lose our entire population, and they will still have a billion each population. The more humans that come in this country, our value, our labor and our value goes down. the more programmers go down. The more pilots go down. Everything that's more goes down in value. Anyway, guys, that's it for that video, guys. I just wanted to drop something real quick. As Bitcoin approaches $100,000, I just wanted to tell you that Bitcoin is more valuable than anything that you know right now. Because you're not going to value Bitcoin in its present state. You have to value Bitcoin in its future potential. For the future, that's how things are, stocks and other things are valued. What do they have to offer in the future? Future earnings, future expectations. So if you believe that Bitcoin is going to $1 million, what it's worth right now is $95,000. That is nothing. If you buy one Bitcoin right now, you don't have to pay no maintenance fees, no insurance, no transaction fees, no lawyers, no real estate agents, no taxes on the purchase. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay taxes on the sale, but not the purchase. But in this country, you got to pay taxes when you buy something and then sell it. The buyer got to pay taxes. But if you buy $100,000 of Bitcoin right now, you don't have to pay tax on that purchase. See? There are no transaction costs. Very little transaction costs. So anyway, guys, that's it for that video, guys. Remember, guys, keep your life clean, keep your car clean, keep your mind clean, keep your diet clean, keep your home clean, guys. And remember to drink plenty of spring water to flush out the toxins, the chemicals, and the poison that's in the food supply. Guys, you are being poisoned. You've been micro-poisoned every day. And since you're operating in your lower self, you're also unconsciously poisoning your children and your pets, because you haven't resurrected your mind to realize that all this processed food, all this pollution in the air, all the noise of social media, which is more toxicity, all of the plug-ins in your house, the air fresheners and the sprays and all that stuff, everything's toxic and poison, guys. All the makeup and a lot of the soaps and makeups, all this stuff is poison. All the dyes is poison. All this stuff is poison. All the dyes in the food, all the pesticides and herbicides that they spray on the food, all that stuff is poison. All the ultra-processed meats and cheese and all that stuff is poison, guys. It's all poison. Like, everybody will have cancer or be autistic in the future. Within 20 years, most people will be diabetic in 20 years, if they're not now. Most people will have cancer. Most people will be diabetic. Alzheimer's. Dementia. People gonna start getting dementia earlier. Mental illness. Pharmaceutical drugs. There's poison. High fructose corn syrup. Astrazine. Glyphosate. It's all poison, guys. Glyphosate is in everything. But that's not what this video is about. All right, guys. Until next time, guys, I'm Contraband 777. I'm signing off. Peace.